Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Kaylee. I am a Shakespearean scholar and a longtime critiquer of Taylor Swift, which means I will not stop getting tagged in videos about the fate of Ophelia, so we're gonna have to talk about it. I mean, fuck, guys, what do you want me to say? For someone who's calling herself an English teacher on Instagram, she sure missed the entire point of Hamlet. God! I didn't listen to the song because I didn't want to, and I know it was going to irritate me. However, I did go look up the lyrics, and I think there is one line that gives away the fact that the second you read it, she knows nothing. She knows absolutely nothing about what she's talking about if she wrote this song. And that would be, the eldest daughter of a nobleman, Ophelia lived in fantasy. The nobleman in question, of course, being Polonius. Infamously controlling father figure. What the fuck? Anyway, quick Ophelia and Hamlet rundown for you, okay? Ophelia is representative of young women in Hamlet. Gertrude is representative of the place of older women. There are two women in Hamlet. I know. A lot of Shakespeare, more than people like to say it is class critique. Shakespeare came from a not lower class, but lower than nobleman class. And there is a lot of class critique going on in Shakespeare's plays, particularly the tragedies that are about royal households and not the histories as much. But that's just because it's walking a trickier line when you're critiquing your king's ancestor, right? Anyway, Ophelia is representative of the fact that young women have very little choice in who they spend their time with, where they go, what they do. The reason Ophelia dies is because she is controlled by every man around her. That's why Hamlet fucks Ophelia over, right? But before Hamlet fucks Ophelia over, the play makes it explicitly clear that Ophelia is already being fucked over by her father and her brother. There is a whole scene between Ophelia, Polonius, and Laertes towards the beginning of the play, which one of the most famous lines in Hamlet, "To thine own self be true," comes from that scene, right? And it's Polonius lecturing his children. First it's Laertes and Ophelia talking, and then it's Polonius lecturing his children about not losing their virginity and how to take care of themselves. And the advice that he is giving his daughter and his son are very different. They're contrasted on purpose. It's not like Shakespeare's an idiot. What Ophelia and Gertrude represent in Hamlet is how women are defined by the men around them, and how women's sexual relationships with the men around them can lead them into situations where they have very, very little control. Because the fact is if Hamlet and Ophelia slept together, and then she doesn't marry him, she can't marry anyone else. And Polonius knows that, but Polonius is also the one controlling her. And then when Polonius dies, Laertes also comes home and is supposed to then be in charge of her. She doesn't have her own personhood. Like, Ophelia and Gertrude are more so about not having personhood than for you to use Ophelia in a romantic context whatsoever does a disservice to her entire character. And need I remind you as well that Taylor Swift is a 35-year-old woman talking about being saved by a 36-year-old man. Ophelia was probably 14, maybe 17 at the oldest. But that's a kid who's because they're even saying that they're not even trying to get her married yet. She's young. It is just fascinating to me how Taylor Swift, a 35-year-old billionaire, one of the most powerful people on the planet, cannot take accountability for the fact that she has that power and privilege and will not stop putting herself in this victimhood persona of young baby white girl. The people who Taylor Swift, portrays herself as identifying with are characters like Ophelia, and that is so fascinating. I mean, Ophelia, as she is in the original text, she has become this paragon of white womanhood and this idea of white woman victimhood and passive suicide. And that's not what she represents in the text, right? Okay, the reason Ophelia kills herself, by the way, is not because Hamlet rejects her. All right, it's because if she slept with Hamlet and Hamlet rejects her and won't marry her, and now her father is dead, she has no option. She is not marryable. She's not valuable anymore. She will either be sent to a nunnery, maybe, if they'll take her, or she'll die destitute. That's why she kills herself. That is not an experience Taylor Swift has ever come close to having. And the self-identification with the idea of being forced into a corner like that and being pulled out by Travis Kelce is wild. But again, there was not a man who could have saved Ophelia. That's not the plot of the play. Anyway, we can talk about all of the allusions and shitty metaphor in Taylor Swift's song if you want me to. But at the end of the day, the fact that she wrote this song at all shows that she's never read Hamlet. Or at least never understood it. Anyway, you can hire me to edit your essays, or talk to your classrooms, or you can just send me any amount of money and I will answer any question you have about Shakespeare, and I also take tips. All of those links are in my bio. Yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry, she doesn't get the play. Ah!